So we have several people who are going to share some cool things with us tonight. We're going to start with Savannah. Let's see, if you were here last Tuesday, you heard us kind of start talking about history of this particular fandom. We were talking with Joan Marie, who she started the first newsletter that then kind of evolved into Sid's fan club. And then my website came along a couple years after that. Savannah, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Joan Marie edited and basically ran pretty much single-handedly, as far as I can tell, with a lot of assistance from Gail, I think, based on reading the newsletters. Ran Multi-Species Medicine, which was a newsletter about Sid, and then became the official newsletter of Sid's official fan club part of the way through. This ran from, as far as I can tell, about 1994 through 1999. Joan Marie is a lovely human being who will send you a box of physical copies of this thing if you ask her, which I did, which I have flipped through, and I have had the box of them for a while. As Mel said, on Tuesday night last week, the idea was brought up that somebody should scan them. I had been thinking about and threatening to scan them just for myself for a long time, but I didn't want to do that without Joan Marie's permission. But thankfully she was right there, so I asked her and she agreed. So I descended upon, I work at a university, I descended upon my university library's KIC VBED book scanner with my giant box of 43 issues of Multi-Species Medicine, and spent about 3 or 3.5 hours over 2 days scanning all of them using this thing, which is an overarm book scanner. So the benefit of that being that you don't have to flatten the thing, or you don't have to squeeze it in a flatbed scanner, which I didn't want to do because of the age of the paper and because I tried to scan these on a flatbed. It was a disaster. I got really good at using this machine very quickly. So yes, I have scanned everything that I have. I know I am missing a couple of issues here or there. I suspect that Joan Marie is missing them as well, but I have scanned everything that I have on this scanner. So I scanned everything at the absolute highest resolution that I could. I have uploaded the first 15 issues that I have ready to Mega, which is a file sharing service you may be familiar with. It's like Dropbox, and as well as to Google Drive. And I will drop the links in the chat. I have given them what I affectionately call comic book numbering, which is leading triple-digit numbers, because the issue naming scheme changed a couple times, and I wanted to keep them in order, but also preserve the original names of the issues. Also, the most important thing, as you're going through them, you're going to find some blocks of solid black in the text. Don't worry, I have not pulled out any content. There's nothing juicy under them. What is under them is people's home addresses. Hundreds and hundreds of people's home addresses. There are a lot of them, so there are a lot of black boxes, but I assure you there is nothing interesting under them other than people's addresses. I discovered while going through the newsletter something I didn't know, which is that Sid, Nana, and Terry, and Will Wheaton as well apparently read for an audiobook collection called More of the Best of Science Fiction and Fantasy. I have been wondering why Sid didn't read audiobooks forever, but it looks like the answer is he did, and I just didn't know, and that is on Audible if anybody wants to listen to it.
Thank you, Savannah. That is an awesome project. I'm so glad that you're doing it, or have done it. You're done now.
Yeah, it's great fun. The reason there's only 15 or so up thus far is because the redaction process is quite slow, because the addresses are even interspersed through the text. So I have to kind of skim over them, which is taking me a little while, and even more time than it should, because I keep getting distracted reading the newsletter. So
the 90s fandom.
Yes, delightful.
All right, so next we're going to talk with Lisa. Lisa's going to show off some of her amazing collection of Star Trek toys. She's been collecting forever. You might remember her from the holiday video. She had that super cool, or the holiday special, she had that super cool segment where she showed us her Christmas tree ornaments. And I'm going to let her start talking now, and everybody's going to gasp when they see your room, Lisa.
Thank you, Mel, and thank you for giving me this little space here to show off some of my toys. I don't know why, but I'm really super nervous to do me nervous. Anyway, try not to show my jitters here. Yes, I have been posting about my enormous Star Trek collection. You can sort of see a bit of it behind me. I've been posting on Twitter and Instagram, and if you're interested, you can find some items in my Star Trek collection. And toys were actually some of the first things in my collection. So obviously, I'm not going to show all that stuff. So I was very thrilled when I finally got this toy last year, especially because the eyepieces are intact, which is really, really hard to find. And this, which is my favorite, goes very well with another toy, the Space Fun helmet. Space Fun helmet. Okay. So I love this helmet. That's the box. I love the helmet because it has this great big, I don't know, police light on the top, which makes it like related to nothing. It's not a police helmet, and it obviously has nothing to do with Star Trek. Until last year, if you watched the last episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, there was a part where Mariner and the bridge crew all piled out of the bridge, and they were in the hallway. And Mariner opened up her secret cache of contraband, and out fell one of these. So this Space Fun helmet is now Star Trek canon. And I tweeted at the showrunner, Mike Mahan, to say thank you. And I showed him a picture. I tweeted a picture of that, and he tweeted back at me, I'm so jealous, which I thought was really cool. And the last thing that I'll show you is the last Remco thing, which I find really cool. This was a Star Trek utility belt. So actually, this was the Batman utility belt, but they repurposed it into Star Trek. But at least it does have, if you can see, it does actually have a tricorder that looks like a tricorder, a phaser, and it does also have a communicator. So those are a couple of loose bits. There's the tricorder and the phaser, and there's a little communicator with the thing off. But I'm gonna leave it with that. Thank you for letting me show that. That was really fun.
That they're amazing. How did you get started collecting all of these?
Well, you know, I'm a collector, and some of my earliest memories as a child is just collecting things. So as soon as I fell in love with Star Trek, which I did around 8 years old, that's one of the first things I started doing, was collecting things to do with Star Trek. Of course, if you're a collector, you love the things that are hard to get. So,
okay, does anybody have a question or comment for Lisa? I saw some things kind of flying by.
I do, if no one else does. I absolutely have questions.
Okay, go for it.
2 questions. And the other one is, what is the most expensive item that you've got?
That's very interesting. The favorite item, I mean, honestly, if you're a collector, that's a really hard thing to answer because I have favorites of different categories. Probably my favorite is the one that I showed Sid when I got to talk to him on my birthday, which is the 1967 Len Hus play. And there's just something about that I just really love. And as to the most expensive, it's hard to say because things have value, for what people will pay for them. I recently acquired a script that belonged to June Westmore, who was the makeup artist on Next Generation, and she won an Emmy, and she did all the movies, and she had the whole cast sign her script. And I managed to get a hold of that. So that's probably worth a lot. In terms of what I paid for something, Canada put out a gold coin in the shape of a Star Trek Delta. And I can't remember how much that was, but it was not cheap. it was over $1,000. And I don't usually pay over $1,000 for a piece of memorabilia, but I'm all, as a collector, how you like to complete collections? And I needed that one to complete the collection, and so I shelled out for it.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing you found in like the most unobvious place, I would say?
I don't know if I can show it here, but this is the 1979 Mego bridge set. Now, I didn't actually find this, but I have a friend who everybody who knows me looks for Star Trek stuff for me. And he called me up and he said, I don't know if you have this. Everyone knows I have everything, but I'm seeing this thing here and it's $14.95. Are you interested? And I was like, buy it, 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 because it's in the box. And so it's got the nice, and it's a nice box too. That thing goes for, it depends on eBay, $500, $600, $700 or something. $14.95. That's how much I paid for it.
Do you have a white whale? Is there some item that you're still looking for that you haven't been able to track down
I
yet?
have a list of things that I'm still looking for. And I bought something off of eBay recently. I bought the 25th anniversary Enterprise. I forget where it's from, but it's got the little top that removes and there's a little tiny bridge inside. And it came and it was broken. Oh, it just broke my heart. So now I'm trolling for that one again. I mean, I can, if you want to pay any money, then you can always buy it. I'm looking for a deal because I buy so much, so I'm always looking for.
Any tips for new collectors?
I have to say that my collecting exploded when I started going to the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, because I would go the night before when the dealer's room is open, and I've learned which are the dealers that are carrying the stuff that I like, which is the original series stuff. I would just sort of hone in on what things bring you the most pleasure. And
all righty. Next, we are going to hear from Laura R., who has a collection that they are going to share with us.
So I collect Star Wars toys and Marvel toys, and I also have some video game ones like Animal Crossing. Oh, those are my Hannibal ones. That's that's very niche TV show, but that's that one. That's my Star Wars ones. There's a couple of shelves of those. So I like to collect the Black Series ones, which is the ones that have come out in the new, since the new movies came out. They're just a lot nicer and compared to like the 70s and 80s ones. So I do have some old ones, like as I grew up, like getting them. These are Marvel ones. These are some of my Marvel ones that I collect, which are also the Black Series. Again, I only collect the characters that I like. Whenever I see them, I will just snag them. So I do have a bunch of them, and I do have a lot of Spider-Man because he's my favorite. Love Spider-Man, and there's some Pacific Rim ones over there. So like I said, I collect a lot of just different little things. Ever since I was like little, I've always had a lot of action figures. It's always been something of mine, so it's carried over until now. So I do have a couple here that I guess are my favorite from those little specific collections. Let's start off with this one. This is a Lego one, but I was making it a couple weeks ago during the club. Little baby Yoda. He's cute. And then I pulled off this one. So this was one of the first, I guess, Star Wars ones I got. So I've had this Luke here since probably I was like 5 or 6. We found it at Savers. It was in like a grab bag for $2. And he's been with me everywhere. I don't know. They always just come from house to house to house. But we have K2SO because Rogue One is one of the best new Star Wars movies. And he was the best. And I guess this one is like my favorite one. It's from all my Hannibal stuff, but is Hannibal himself with his little flower crown. It's really kind of silly, but I won him off of Twitter from Brian Fuller, the creator. So he means a lot. He's probably like the most expensive thing because he was like $150 or something like that. But it's like a replica. But he's probably my favorite out of all of the stuff I have. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like your Hannibal, and the fact that you won it from Brian Fuller is even cooler.
Yeah, I was like at work and I just had it like he was running like a week-long like like giving away like 7 of them, and so it had like the notification when he tweeted, so I could look at it, and I was like quickly like, and I got it, and I was like, yay!
That is cool. I know Brian. He did a show called Pushing Daisies.
Yeah.
Several years ago. That was one of the very first shows that my friend and I did a fan site for, and we got to meet him. And he's recognized us every year after that at Comic Cons, and he's gone to Star Trek Las Vegas sometimes too, because he wrote for DS9 and Voyager. So
yeah, he seems like the nicest person.
He is amazing. He's such a sweetheart. He's a giant, but he's a sweetheart. Yeah. So very cool. Does anybody have a question or a comment for Laura?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm curious because as a collector, sometimes I will purge. Like I'll have a set of something and I go, I don't really like that anymore. Do you ever do that, or do you keep everything that you collect?
I pretty much have everything. I think either that or it's upstairs in a box. Like I haven't thrown it away. Like I have a full like Buffy collection upstairs. I have like all of season 8 in comics, like all this, like every issue that they did, like alternate covers. I just stuck them upstairs. I'm like, one day maybe I will want it. And also, you can't really get money for those. Oh, go ahead, Colin. He's screaming.
Oh no! Do you know how rare they are to get hold of? The Buffy season 8 onwards, they're really hard. They're really expensive. You can make money selling them right now if you don't want them. Not to me, but absolutely you can. Just mentioning that.
Yeah, I tried to one time because I didn't want to lug them around anymore, and I tried selling them as the full set, but I couldn't get more than like $75. I was like, I'll wait. So glad I waited.
Honestly, because I read up to I think whatever it was, and I wanted to get the rest, and I went searching. You just do a search for the seasons after the TV show finished. You can't get them for love nor money. They're really rare now. So absolutely, you can get those sold. 100%.
Maybe I'll keep them. They're also in like the package, like the wrapper too. I kept them all like nice and.
There's your retirement fund.
I know. I guess so.
Your next Star Trek convention. I just glanced over at the chat. I think you're being bribed. For those comments. All right. Any other questions for Laura?
Seriously, your favorite cheesecake? Because I used to own a baking business, and I will trade cheesecake for Buffy comics.
I'll let you two work that out privately.
Okay.
That is a good offer.
Okay. Thank you, Laura, so much. That was very cool. Welcome to the Sin City Social Club for Friday, March 5th. I actually have a couple of videos to share today that he sent for you guys.
Hi, guys. I was hoping to make it today, being a Friday, thinking that maybe my schedule would be soft and that I would still be in quarantine. But I'm being yanked out of quarantine one day early after having a test the other day. And so I can't make it to today's SCSC. I would have loved to have been there. Quarantine in a hotel in lovely Tallinn in Estonia has been much like being in any other hotel that you can't leave. House arrest, if you think about it that way. I can order room service. There's a pizza and a burger, and everything else is over 30 euros. So I haven't been buying anything else, but I've been eating pizzas and burgers like they're going out of business. Otherwise, I'm terrific. I've got my first day of filming. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon here, so we're having a kind of night shoot, so I'll be there about 7, and we'll go till, after midnight sometime. I've had costume fittings, and my hair's been cut finally since June. And everything else is pretty good, but just wishing you all well and hoping you're all having a great time. Lots of love.
All right. So greetings from Sid from Estonia. I asked if he would take a picture outside his hotel window and send that to us so we could see what his view is. And instead, he sent 38 videos from his travels. So the lovely and talented Rob Moriarty stitched these all together for us so that we can watch them all in a row. So this is sort of a travel log. It starts in London and ends in Tallinn. So you will get a little sense of what it's like to be traveling at this point.
I have 9 hours in Heathrow, Terminal 2. I can't leave. The good news is I've had plenty of time to realize that I forgot to pack a hairbrush. Problem solved. So it's the same story everywhere. Closed. So I went with the Denman D84. Fast and gentle styling. That idea really appealed to me. Let's see how it works. It's strange that they give you an escalator to go down, but you have to take the stairs to come back up. Good exercise though. Peak time is probably about 4:30 in the afternoon, so this would be humming with people. There's still quite a few people here, 1,000 or so maybe. It seems quite arbitrary what is open and what is closed. There's a sushi bar over there in orange on top floor. That's open. Over there you've got the duty free, which is always open obviously. Some naturally fast food, whatever that is. And bizarrely, Caviar House, which is open. And you can get magazines and hairbrushes. Happy to say. So, off to Helsinki. Approximately 2,000 kilometers. It's going to take about 2.5 hours, apparently. That is Helsinki, although I really don't know. Never been here before. Definitely Finland. A very blustery landing. Plane is wobbling around all over the place. Oh, I hope that isn't the runway we're supposed to be running on. There must be one here somewhere too. So this is Helsinki Airport. It's 11 o'clock at night, local time, but everything's closed. Even the transfer desk is closed, so I'm not really sure what to do, except I found a restaurant with a departure board. Hurrah! So I can actually figure out where my flight is. This place really is like a ghost town. All these luxury shops where you can buy stuff duty-free, which means that they are a little less overpriced than they are on the high street. But they're still pretty overpriced, has to be said. First time I've come across a line since I left America. I wouldn't say that social distancing is at its most enthusiastic on this flight. So hey, it's a short flight. So I have a problem. Remember the transit office in Helsinki was closed. The whole place was shut down. Well, I needed a stamp from there in order to make it to get in here. So now I've been asked to sit down. Very nice multicolored chairs while everybody goes through the border patrol. I don't know what's gonna happen. We shall see. It's getting late and I'm kind of tired. Ah, phew, finally there. Had to get a retroactive stamp in my passport because I technically arrived in Europe yesterday. And there is my bag, which is a miracle. How on earth does that happen? All the way from America, across millions of borders, and all kinds of problems. And it's here, like a faithful old dog. So, I finally arrived at the hotel. I have taken off my mask because there is nobody around. 4 miles, and I had to have a COVID test as I arrived, which meant that it's not one of the ones you do yourself, which is really nice and easy. It's the one where they actually put your head back. A lady in a hazmat suit sticks a bottle cleaning brush up your brain. My brain must be really tiny because they must puncture a lot of people. I can't believe that you can get up that far without doing any damage. So that's it. It's the end of a trip. Front door of the hotel. Now I go and figure out what's going on.
All right. So Sid has safely arrived in Tallinn. He seems to have survived all of the COVID tests. His brain is still intact. And obviously the hairbrush is working out for him. So as I was watching those videos, it was like, this is your dad traveling. He's taking snippets of videos for you. So there you go, everybody. Here's your internet dad and his travelogue. The plan for today is to have a few people do some show and tell. We're doing toys this week, but we're going to start with CJ, who has a special collection that they would like to share.
I wanted to share my Pusheen collection today. I do apologize. The best way I could do this was on my phone, so things are a little shaky, but let me see if I could turn my camera around and get started. So for those who don't know what Pusheen is, I'll do the overview first. These are Pusheens. They are cats that were created by Claire Belton in 2010, I believe, and based on her real tabby cat. So she had a gray tabby cat named Pusheen, and this is one of the Pusheen characters. She has since created 2 cats based on Pusheen's siblings, quote unquote, Stormy and Pip. Pip is actually gray. This is Dragon Pip, who's purple. So, and they are also real cats that live with her parents. So I have been collecting these for about 2 years now. They come in a variety, as you can see, from these fellas, which are super squishy ones, to these smaller ones here. These are the considered normal size. This is Dragon Sheen. There's some that come only from particular places, like these are from the book box, not book box, Pusheen box. They only come in that. Some of them are bag clips like this. This one is from a blind box series. This is one of my favorites. This is Stormy Corn, I call it. Some of them come from particular stores. Those are usually the more valuable ones if anyone's curious about that. This one's only from Claire's. This one here is from Hot Topic. No, sorry. This was from the Pusheen shop, and if you can see, its eyes light up, which is just so fun. I call this one Countess Plum because I'm ridiculous. I got one here with a raincoat. Most of these little ones along the bottom are blind box Pusheens. So those are my favorite because they're the smallest ones. And a blind box looks like so. So they cost about $10 and they're really fun. So this was one from It's Sugar. If any of you have older It's Sugar ones, just know that they could be worth a pretty penny. So look online before you get rid of them. This one was a special from Barnes & Noble. And this one over here was a special from Books A Million. I call it Nerd Sheen because of the glasses. If you've been on the Discord, you probably heard me mention that I decorated my Christmas tree with them. And I still have it up because why not? So here it is. So I have covered this tree. I know we have some Lord of the Rings fans. That is the One Ring. It fell off a bookmark and one of my sisters put it on that. So yeah, I call this my serotonin tree because it's well past Christmas, but I don't want to take it down until everyone's vaccinated because it just makes me happy. So that's the gist of that tree. So that's basically it if anyone has any questions.
I cannot believe you've only been collecting these for 2 years and you have this many.
Seriously, I have seen like entire halves of rooms covered with these.
What a cute collection. And I love the idea of having a serotonin tree.
Thank you.
Does anybody else want to jump in? I see the chat going crazy, so I think we have some other Pusheen fans here.
I adore your collection. I know there is like a unicorn, Pushicorn, that lights up when you touch its belly. Do you have that one?
This one is the mini Pushinicorn, but it doesn't light up. You're thinking of super Pushinicorn. I like the little ones because I don't have a lot of space or a lot of money and they're cheaper. A lot of these were gifts or bought over a fairly long period of time. By the way, those cats behind you, those little oval ones I see, I have one of those too. Yeah, those are so cute. I got one of those at a convention and I love it. I don't even know what they're called.
I got mine from a convention too.
That is an adorable collection. Also, I love your rescuers down on your bag.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, CJ. That was delightful.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Randy has some toys to share.
I do. Well, actually, a lot of these are my husband's. But the amazing thing about marrying a massive nerd is that you get to share all of your cool toys. I'll go from the top. This is his ET collection. He loves ET. Unfortunately, we can't watch it together because I get too emotional and I cry too much during the movie. Not him saying that, me saying that, definitely cry too much to actually enjoy it. This is his Star Wars collection as well. So he's got just like the vintage Star Wars toys. He's like, these are really cool. He is the kind of collector that like, he used to have a full set of them, but now he mostly just collects ones that he particularly likes or like he remembers from the youth days. So basically there's like a whole bunch of them there. There's like some particular ones that he likes. So the Yoda's quite one that he's quite fond of. So hold on. Let me just, this little guy. There he is there. So there's like orange snake Yoda and there's actually a brown snake Yoda as well, which is rarer, but he had orange snake Yoda as a kid, so he prefers that one. Han, I think he's quite fond of as well. Old mate Han. There's a big head Han, one that's got like a huge melon head, and then there's this one that looks a bit better. This one he likes because it's shiny. Then the ones that the people from here are probably a little bit more familiar with are these guys. So this is the Star Trek collection. And as you guys can see, there's quite a lot of them. We're actually running out of space for all of the Star Trek people. Most of these are original series or next gen peeps. But yeah, these guys are pretty cool. I'm actually like, I really like these ones because they're really tiny, but I feel like they got a lot of their likenesses quite on point. So I'll just open this up because these are my friends, my Muppets. So these are my collection. There's the band. So Ben, I think, found quite a lot of these guys online. And they're pretty amazing. So I love the animal and like the drum setup and everything like that comes with. These are the party people. So there's a whole bunch of Muppets that have suits on for some reason. So I put them all together there. It looks like they're having a bit of a jam. Beak is having a little bit of a sing there. No points for guessing who my favorite Muppet is. It's definitely Kermit. I love Kermit so much. And so I've been trying to find all of the different versions of Kermit that they have. So like the interesting thing about this toy line, right, is like if you look at it, they all have so many amazing details about them. And you can do stuff like there's magnets in the hats that keep the hats on their heads so you can take them off. You know, they come with like a million accessories each, and they're all just like, they're so on model, you know, and they've got like Muppet textures on them as well. Like they are just incredibly, incredibly well-made toys. But the thing is, they are so well made that you can't actually get them anymore because they were so expensive to make that they sent the company bankrupt. But thank you very much for just like the most incredible Muppets toy line in existence. It's really, really cool. So that's kind of what I collect.
That's amazing. Ah, I love your Muppet. All of them. They're all good. We had those, we had the Star Wars toys that.
It's really funny because I actually never used to be into toys or collecting anything or anything like that. But then when I got married to Ben and then saw all of his collections, I was like, oh, these are really cool. I want my own ones.
What did you start with?
The Muppets, I'm pretty sure the first one that I got, oh, embarrassing story. I was in my room and for some reason Rainbow Connection just crossed my mind at one point. And obviously from the ET story, I'm a very emotional person. So I just like started crying because I loved Kermit so much. And Ben came in and was like, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I was like, I just love Kermit the Frog so much. And so he bought me my first Kermit toy, who was one of the ones in that cupboard there. And it was downhill from there.
I love it. That's such a sweet story.
I was going to say, have you gone for the master replicas route?
Oh my goodness.
They're fully armatured, you know, they're not puppets, but you can pose them and they'll hold the pose, you know, like they were made for photos and stuff like that. So
oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, they're
so good as well.
Oh yeah, I mean he's pretty much life size, and like I said, you can pretty much, you know, pose him pretty much any way you want, and he'll hold the pose.
I love that so much.
Okay, that is super cool. I think Jennifer, am I seeing that you are pulling something out?
So yeah, so I had mentioned that I have a line of Care Bears that I have not unpacked in, goodness, 10 years almost, and this made me think of it. So like Kukulaka, I suppose, I had a thing for bears, partly because this was the thing that started it all. This is Birth Bear. His hat says 1987, which is when I was born. And he's ready for the winter. But he was given me when I was born because I was in the NICU for a long time. So that sat outside the little box I was in. And then it just went from there. So then we have Lucky, Friendship Bear, and my personal favorite, Stormcloud. And there's Cupcake, and Sunshine, which is my least favorite, but you know, and Sleep, Ice Cream, Hearts, hang on, more Hearts, because why not? Rainbow, ta-da. And there was a new collection that came out in the 90s, and I only have one of them because they're very weird. And like the makeup of them is entirely different. They have much flatter hands and weirder hair and that sort of thing. But perhaps one of the funniest ones, sorry, I have to turn and face you, is Secret Bear. Now, Secret Bear is a true wonder of the 80s.
Oh my gosh.
Right, so the two things that it says are, I promise I won't tell, and do you have a secret? And I'm Secret Bear. You're my secret friend. Yeah, I think that's it. So, you know, because it's a voice box that is at this point 30 years old, it is demonic and terrifying. So, so Secret Bear will come for you in your sleep and tell you about how he will not tell anyone.
Yes. Oh my god.
So no, the eyes do not light up red. I'm sure he's a very lovely toy, and he doesn't want me to talk about him like this. But there's a reason that these guys stay in a cardboard box in the guest room. So anyway, from bears, I decided, well, I was done with bears, and in like middle school or something, I decided my favorite animal was the otter, which is still true. So yeah, fellow otter friends. So there are a ton of otters in this particular box, because once you tell somebody that you like something, they buy you 8. So there are an inordinate amount of otters that live in my life in this box.
They're so
It'll
cute.
be back. Another one. And then for cross fandoming, for any Animorphs fans, Tobias the red-tailed hawk, who screeches at you.
But he and Secret Bear could have quite the conversation.
It's true, and the rest of them can just be horrified that this is what our life has become.
Does anybody have a question or a comment for Jennifer?
Well, I do have to ask, are you familiar with the sitcom Cabin Pressure?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, it's a British sitcom, stars Benedict Cumberbatch. He did it before he was famous, but there's a very famous episode of it called Ottery St. Mary. And if you need to find, and if you're into otters, you'll find out exactly how many otters one can fit in an airplane. Trust me, it's worth it. The show is brilliant.
What is it called again? Cabin Pressure?
Called Cabin Pressure. It's a radio sitcom. There's 26, 27 episodes, depending on how you count them. Stars Benedict Cumberbatch. He kept doing it after he became Sherlock. You can buy it on CD or download it from Apple. It's brilliantly funny.
Fantastic.
I wanted to add one thing on the note of a nightmare fuel doll. So my wife, her grandmother has this doll that was apparently made in the 30s, and it was like very early technology where they had the weighted eyes that would open when you hold it up. But apparently during that time, they didn't really know how to make synthetic hair very well. So it's actually, the doll actually is made out of, the hair is made out of real human hair. And the eyes are a little wonky. And one day we brought over a dog, and the dog just started barking at the doll, and then like kind of bumped it, and the eyes like flicked open, and the dog ran away screaming. My child, when we went and visited, is terrified of the doll. Her grandmother has told us that she's going to give this doll when she passes away. So now we don't know how to like get rid of this nightmare fuel, and I'm pretty sure my house is going to be haunted till the day I die. So that's all I wanted to share.
Well,
Good
thanks
talk.
for that, Kyle. Today on the Social Club, toys and childhood trauma.
Here, Secret Bear will keep your stories.
No.
Actually, Kyle's story made me get my doll out. This one is rather creepy. That's my auntie's doll from the 40s. It does have real human hair. It's a Bakelite doll. And oops.
That's the one that my wife's grandmother has.
Yes. This belonged to my auntie, and it was passed down to my mum, and then she gave it to me. Apparently, this is worth about $300-400. This doll. So, yeah, her hair has gone really matted with age, but it's always looked like that. Bugs have eaten one of her eyelashes, which obviously are also real. But yeah,
wow.
There's some nightmares for you. Sorry, everyone who is freaked out by dolls, but. Yeah, it's a family heirloom now, so I can't actually get rid of it. So it's as scary as it is. And it is actually about baby size too.
Thank you so much, Jennifer and Helen and Kyle, for that terrifying display. I see that John has a hand up. Did you have something you wanted to share, or were you wanting to ask a question?
Well, no, it's something to share. I actually had this I rediscovered it a couple of weeks ago and just never had a chance to talk any of the other nights. Back in the day, Paramount used to send out really elaborate press kits for all their, whenever they launched shows. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember the syndicated version of the Untouchables they did in the 80s, but they actually sent out an actual wooden cask with an axe in the lid, and you pull that out, and there was all your press kits. And for the end of next gen, they sent out this really elaborate leather folio with all these fold outs and pop-ups. I don't have it handy, but when DS9 premiered, they sent out a TV VCR combo to all the TV stations, and it was built into a shell which made it look like one of the consoles on the in the command center of DS9. we ended up giving that away as a contest promo. But in all the slots on this replica were all of our press kit materials, and everything was done in a theme that had sort of like this circuit board design. And this is the only thing I've still got left from it, which is probably one of the very first, I guess you could say, merchandise for DS9. This is a videotape that came in the box in the press kit, which basically had all the original commercials on it. And actually, I haven't played this recently, but the commercials on it actually still have the wrong logo on it. They still have the purple logo with the Delta shield in place of the A. But this may be like one of the very first, I guess you could say, pieces of merchandise sent out for DS9, and I found it when I was cleaning up a couple of weeks ago.
That's really cool. We can hear your cat too, by the way.
Yeah, she's a bit of a pest.
No, we love cats here. Okay. Well, thank you so much, John. I appreciate you sharing that with us. We're going to go over to Jackie. Jackie has a collection that they pulled out to share with us.
So I worked at Disney for a while, and one of the things I got to do while working at Pirates of the Caribbean was trade pins as a cast member, and I got hooked on it. And one of the jokes in our family is because I'm a natural blonde, I am Pooh Bear, the bear of very little brain. So I started using Winnie the Pooh pins from Disney. I just turned them, trying to get oops, that's not the right page. There we go. As we went on, just all sorts of different Winnie the Pooh pins. I've got them organized, and this next one is my holiday collection. These are all a bit older now because I haven't lived in Florida or gone to Disney World in quite some time. But you can see here are the Winnie the Pooh Santas, all the Christmas ones. I've got the St. Patrick's Day ones, a couple of Valentine's there, and then various other holidays like birthday and Halloween and yeah, Easter. There we go. There's the Easter ones. Also got different assorted ones. Basically, there are a lot of them. So yeah, that's my pin collection.
That's really cool. I had no idea there were that many pins.
Oh, I only have a fraction of them. There are so many. These are just ones that I was collecting them or actively buying them.
Wow. That's cool. Does anybody have a question or a comment for Jackie?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if you had a personal favorite out of your Pooh Bear collection, because I love Winnie the Pooh so much. I have a teddy bear of him somewhere in the house. I have to find it, but I just wanted to ask if you had like a personal favorite out of all of the Winnie the Pooh ones.
I have two actually. They're part of a set of three, and they were an exclusive that I found out only after they existed. So this one says "Forget Me Not," and it's Pooh hugging Eeyore. This is really nice and pastel. And the matching one is Friends and Such, and it's Pooh and Piglet with flowers. So those are my favorite too.
Those are so cute.
Jackie, what is it that you're using to store them in? Because I just use giant pin boards and I can't figure out what you have them in that has pages. It's so cool.
So it's actually an official, this one is an official Disney trading pin bag.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Next week, the theme is cosplay. So on both Tuesday and Friday, if you would like to come and in costume, that would be awesome. It only has to be from the waist up. You don't have to do the whole thing. If you have some collectible that is related to cosplay, then you are welcome to sign up to share that.